Now today I'm going to be making up some Scotch eggs. Now I've already done a couple of video recipes for Scotch eggs, and one of them was the traditional way of doing it with the sausage meat. But I know because a lot of you said you can't always get the sausage meat, it's hard to get. I thought I would do this particular video with pork mince. So I'm going to be using pork mince, but equally you could use lamb mince instead. So let's go through the ingredients, get it all made up. So for making these Scotch eggs, I'm just going to go through the ingredients I'm going to use. Now I'm using pork mince and I've got 1 kilogram, that's 1,000 grams of pork mince. As I say, a really good alternative would be lamb mince. Now for the pork mince, I'm going to add 150 grams of bacon. Try and make sure it's not too fatty and you haven't got the rind, just use the meaty bit. And I'm going to chop that up fairly nice and fine and add that in with the pork mince. Now we've also got some corn flour. 5 teaspoons, that's a small teaspoon, 5 teaspoons of corn flour, and also 1 egg yolk. So crack your egg, separate, get rid of the white, just keep the yolk. And that and the corn flour is going to be mixed in there, and that will help to bind the mince together. Now to give it some nice flavours, we're going to be using curry powder, mild curry powder, and I've got 5 teaspoons, again the small spoon, 5 teaspoons of mild curry powder. And really, apart from a little bit of salt and pepper seasoning, that's going to make up the meaty mixture that's going to go around the egg. Now the other things you're going to need is, I'm going to use 10 eggs. These are about a medium size. Just going to hard boil those, shell them, and then you've got your eggs. Now with the eggs, you're going to need to roll those in a little bit of flour, and that will help to bind the egg to the meaty mixture. So, you know, just a little bit of flour to roll your eggs in. Also, a couple of extra eggs, because once you've got your Scotch eggs all made up, we need to get the breadcrumbs on the outside. So what we're going to do is roll it in some beaten egg and then roll it in the breadcrumbs that I've got at the back here. And then your Scotch eggs are ready to go in the frying pan. So there's all the ingredients. Now what I'm going to do is get on with the meaty mixture first. So just to get on with the meaty mixture, now I'm going to start off with some seasoning. Put a bit of salt on there, and again, good pinch freshly ground black pepper. Now what I might do is I might just turn that around a little bit, and I might add a little bit more salt and freshly ground black pepper again. So just a bit, because we're using a fair amount of mince here. Now I've got the corn flour. Again, what I'm going to do is kind of just try and work that in a little bit. There we go, that's it. 1 egg yolk, just pop that in, I'll break that in a minute with my hands. And also the curry powder. Just going to again try and mix it as we go a little bit. And then we'll give it a good mix up in a minute with our hands. That's it. Now the only other thing I've got is the bacon, so let's get that in as well. Now what I'm going to do with the bacon, just keep life simple. I'm just going to just trim it with a pair of scissors. These are good scissors, but do it with a knife if you want, but we just want to get a little bit. So I'll just carry on that with all the bacon. Now I'm just going to add the bacon, just bring that in the view. Now I've got my bacon there. Again, I'll just put it all in, because I'm going to get my hands in there and give it a good mixing. So let's just go around and kind of just mix it together as you go. So I'll carry on doing that until we've got it all mixed up, ready to use. There you go, I think we're done. So now I've got all the meaty part done, I'm going to go over to the hob and we're going to start by boiling the eggs. So I've come over to the hob and I'm going to get on with hard boiling the eggs. Now I've got a pan of cold water, just going to put a lid on there, switch the heat on. Now what you want to do initially is bring it up to a boil. Once the water's come to a boil, turn it down to a much lower temperature so that it's still just bubbling away, but the eggs aren't bouncing around in there. So once it comes to a boil, turn it down to a lower temperature, and you probably want to cook for about 6 minutes. So I've finished cooking my eggs. I've had mine in there for 6 minutes, so switch the heat off. Now careful, because it could be hot. I'm going to take that over, tip the hot water away, and I'm going to run the cold tap on the eggs for a little while, just to cool them right down. So with the eggs, after they cooled down, I shelled them. So I took the shells off and I just run them under cold water and then just dabbed them a little bit drier. So we've got everything ready to go to make up these Scotch eggs. Now I've also got a frying pan with a good amount of oil in there, and I'm going to switch that on and just bring it up to about a medium heat. Now I'm going to get on and make the Scotch eggs. It's always a good idea if you could start just a little bit, don't need much, but just a little bit of oil. Rub it into your hands, because that'll help when you pick up the mincy mixture to stop it all sticking to your hands. Now we start off with just rolling the egg in a little bit of flour. That's it, just shake that off. Now I'm going to grab a bit of the mixture, about the amount I think it could need. We'll see how we go. Now what I would suggest is just flatten it out, and then you can just kind of wrap it round like that, and then you need to bring it together so there's no little holes or anything, and then you can just roll it round in your hands just to try and even out how much of the meaty mixture you've got there, so it sort of rolls it out fairly evenly. So there you go, there's one all ready to go. And what I'm going to do next with that is, obviously I've got the beaten egg there, which I just beat with a fork. And what we can do is just gently put it in the eggy mixture, let it drain away, and I'm just going to put that on there. I did actually want to season these breadcrumbs just slightly. That's it. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper on there as well. That's it. I'm just going to roll the Scotch egg in the breadcrumbs. That's it. So there's one ready to go. Now just on my third one, just going to test it. If I pop a little bit of bread in there, that's just about ready, just about ready. So let me get my first Scotch egg. That's it, we'll just roll that quickly in there again. Pop that in. Now you don't want to put it into too hot a pan, too hot a oil, because otherwise what you end up doing is just burning all the breadcrumbs and the outside, and it's not cooked, you know, all the meat in around it. So let's just get those in there. So I've got the 3 in there. I'm just going to go and make another 1 or 2 if I can be quick. Now what I'd say is every couple of minutes or so, just turn them over a little bit, because you want to build the colour up all over. That's it, starting to look good. Now I've had these Scotch eggs cooking for about 10-12 minutes, turning them over nice and regular, so I'm going to pull mine out because I reckon they're done. So I'm going to pop those on a plate. You can always check yours. If you want to take one of the Scotch eggs out, you can always check it first, you know, cut it in half and make sure the meat's cooked, and then you know the rest of it's, you know, the rest of them are going to be good. So I'm just going to pull those out. So I pulled these Scotch eggs out, look at that, look delicious. I'm going to take them over the table and we're going to try one, and then afterwards I'm going to carry on with the rest of the Scotch eggs. So let's go and try one. Look at that one, looks lovely, lovely. Now what I'm going to do is just chop that down the middle so you can see what's inside. Okay. Oh, look at that. Beautiful looking Scotch egg. And you can see it's all nicely cooked, so you know that's really nicely done. It's got to taste delicious, and that's what we're going to find out. So let's just get stuck in. I think I'll have this half. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Let me just try that. Oh, that is lovely. Really lovely curry flavour, and you get that little bit of bacon as well. That's a lovely combination. Go and make these, they're delicious. And if you prefer to have the sort of original ones, maybe with sausage meat, I've got a video for that, so go and check those out. But otherwise, these are really delicious. And as I say, you can use pork mince, lamb mince, it's up to you. Thanks for watching my videos, and if you like what I do, don't forget to rate me videos, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because I try and put out a regular video about once a week, so, you know, always tune in and see what's going on. Thanks again, the original Naked Chef.